At the beginning of the school year, you can have your hands completely full with getting the classroom ready, getting your lessons ready for the children. But there's another really vital component of the work that you need to be doing all the time, but especially at the beginning of the year, and that is building and nurturing relationships with parents. It's critical to your work. And it is really when you have a well-established parent community and relationships with them, that's when you can most effectively do your work with the children. So as we think about parents, it can be sort of useful to think about them in three different types, very general types of parents, just in terms of how you're going to respond to them and support them. So there are parents that show you they need a lot of support from you. And you're going to see this in terms of how they linger at arrival and dismissal, perhaps trying to get you involved in conversation, or maybe they're sending you a lot of emails or leaving you messages with questions or information. Sometimes this might even come across as complaints. But what they're showing you is that they need more interaction with you. They need more support to help them understand their role and the work that you're doing in the classroom. So a key to these parents who show you they need support is to offer them frequent and proactive communication. Give them information and communication even before they come to you. Show them that you are accessible and that you're right there to be partners with them and collaborators with them in their child's development. This does take time and effort, but it is well worth that time and effort. These parents can become your most ardent advocates and supporters of your classroom and of the school and of Montessori education because, they had to build that trust. So take that time with them. So frequent, proactive stories about their child that show that you know and love their child. If you ever have a concern about their child, you're going to you have to confront that head on and call them in for a meeting and be very gentle with them as you relate the concern with clear sort of action plan in place so that they know we're going to work together to mediate this. You don't know why they need so much attention from you. That may start to come out. That happens in relationship with parents, that you start to find out more about their own schooling experience that can tell you why they are the way they are with their children. And that's fine. No matter what, we just meet parents where they are and offer to them what they need, just like we do with the children. Now there's also parents who need sort of the average amount of support from you. And hopefully this is the majority of your parents, but that changes year to year. And so with these parents, you just have a regular plan of proactive communication where you're trying to catch them at arrival or dismissal or shoot them an email or give them a call, communicating information about their child. You still want to show them that you know and love their child. You still want to connect and build a relationship of collaboration with them, but they may not need as much of that communication. So you can, scale it back a little bit for these parents. If you do have a concern about their child, again, you want to tackle this right away. No waiting on concerns. And you can be clear and straightforward while supportive and nurturing in your communication about the concern. Again, it will be, focused on collaboration and the action plan to support their child, and a follow-up communication plan about what's working and will need to also be put in place. At your regular parent-teacher conferences, these parents might have more to say because you haven't had quite as much communication with them. So be sure that you're allowing time to listen. to their questions and concerns or anything that they have to say. But this type of parent needs just the sort of general maintenance of the relationship to show that you're accessible, to show you know their child, and to address any concerns or questions that they have. Now, the final kind of parent is the parent that you rarely, if ever, see. And there can be any number of reasons for this, and we have to be careful that we are not judging parents for this. It could be that they are just completely happy and comfortable and they don't need to be around as much. It could be that they're working a number of jobs and cannot be as present on campus. It could be that they don't live in the same state. It could be that they have their own issues from their own schooling experience and being on campus makes them uncomfortable. Any number of reasons. But with these parents, we have to be more creative in establishing that proactive communication with them. So it might be that once a month you come in when the before care program starts, at 7 a.m, to see if you can catch that parent at drop off, or stay until the aftercare closes so that you might be able to catch that parent at dismissal. You should keep track of whether you've seen a parent in a given month or so. And if you haven't, give them a call. Email's okay to reach out or schedule a time, but I wouldn't bring up any issues or too much information in an email because tone is so easily misinterpreted. It's hard to communicate effectively. So I would be sure to do it in person if at all possible, and the next best thing would be a phone call. If you do choose to do some email to try to get in touch, I always recommend that you copy your administrator on all emails to parents. With these parents, because you haven't had as much of an opportunity to develop a relationship with them, you'll need to really try to draw them out at your regularly scheduled parent-teacher conferences. Make sure that you're hearing what they want to say, see what else you can find out about their child at home, and be sure that you've got some clear things to show how you know their child and that you're really clearly communicating their child's progression. Parents may fall into any one of these categories at a certain, time in their child's development. You sometimes see less of parents who have been in the elementary longer because they just know the drill and they don't need to be around as much. And it's fine. We just have to be prepared to meet all parents and what they're showing us that they need. Again, because once we do, when we establish a strong parent community, it becomes self-sustaining. They become strong advocates for Montessori education, for our classroom. They help manage the, parking lot complaining that can occur. When you know you have good relationships with parents, they're going to self-manage some of that as well. So it's really worth the time and effort for the good of the classroom community, for the good of the child's development, and ultimately for your sort of happiness in having a supportive adult community around you as you're serving the children all day long.